morning. My name is Rod Taverna. I'm with Freedom Financial Solutions, Inc., a California corporation, and I've been running this company for about 26 years now, ever since I retired from the Marine Corps back in 1989. And throughout those years, I've learned some important lessons. One, if you're going to be successful in financial services, you've got to have a couple of things coming together. One, you've got to find a great niche market. And that is probably one of the best ways to become successful, because now you're not fighting everybody to do everything, and you're not trying to satisfy all people. You're becoming an expert in one particular field, and that's a big advantage. But probably the most important thing that gets a lot of agents in trouble is they run out of lead sources. And a great lead generation program is the pot of gold. That's the magic thing that you always are looking for to keep your business viable and always have new people to talk to. And those are pretty darn hard to come by. And some of them, and I say a good lead generation system, because there are many lead generation systems out there, and most of them are not worth much. What we've found now is something that I feel is the best lead generation program we have seen in the last 26 years. This one is aimed specifically at businesses, and which is a great market, and it is has some elements to it that are just frankly unbelievable. The big key is that it doesn't really cost the business or the employees anything. There's no net cost. There's no out-of-pocket cost to the employees or the employer, and that is so important these days. That if you walk into a business, and even with a great product, there's a lot of great products out there, and you're going to have to ask them to open their wallet, either the employer or the employees. The next phrase coming out of the employer's mouth probably is going to be, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out." It's just very tough. If there's any expense whatsoever, you're going to get a pretty negative response. So what we've found here, and as you see on the screen in front of you, we call this our one is based on a wellness program, and we're going to explain exactly how that works. But it's the ultimate business door opener. And essentially you could also substitute there the ultimate lead generation system. And not only is it one of the best lead generation systems you'll ever find, it will pay you. How many lead generation systems have you found that you didn't have to pay them for leads? This one will pay you, and it'll pay you handsomely. And again, just like the subline says, be paid to save money for large and small businesses and their employees at no net cost. So not only are you going to get paid, not only are you not going to have to charge them anything, you're going to actually put money back in their pockets. It just doesn't get much better than that. So let's proceed and show you exactly how this works. This we're talking about is what we call an ACA compliant wellness program. ACA, as many of you know, stands for Obamacare. That's the Affordable Care Act. There's 12,000 pages of that little devil out there. Most people have never read hardly any of it. It takes a lawyer to get through the whole thing and find any good paragraphs in it that really are effective. And this is kind of what we're going on. They have found a section that was basically created back in 2013. And this is a program that, when done properly, can reduce FICA taxes for the employers by thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, or even more, depending on the size of the company. And it can provide employees with supplemental benefits and no reduction in their take-home pay. Again, this is a lead generation system that will pay you and make great friends with that business, and therefore provides you with cross-selling opportunities to boot. It just, again, doesn't get any better than that. For insurance agents, this is how you can increase your income this year by $100,000 or more with as few as 160 employee enrollments. And you can do this any way, shape, or form. You could come up with 8 20 employee companies, 16 10 employee companies, 160 employee company. You get the idea. You set the pace. You find them, you set them up, you bring them in, and the money starts rolling in. Here's the background. As I mentioned, in 2013, Obamacare essentially created new guidelines for wellness programs. Now, by the way, this didn't even take effect until the beginning of 2014. So this program has not even been around it's been around for less than 2 years. And so it's a lot of people are not familiar with it, they haven't heard of it, and that's why. So if you get an employer that asks you, well, gee, I'm not familiar with this, all you've got to do is explain to them, well, this came out of Obamacare and buried in the 12,000 pages, and not many people are aware of it. So you kind of agree with them, and they don't feel so bad, and they'll understand why they haven't heard of it. So that's an easy question to answer. But basically, in 2013, they came up with a couple new categories for wellness programs, and if the wellness program could meet the criteria of either one of these, it basically allows it to be considered on par with a group health plan, and this has some far-reaching effects, and we're going to discuss those. But the two types of programs, one is participatory, which does not require the employees to meet a specific goal. They don't have to, lose a certain amount of weight. They don't have to quit smoking, or there's no, again, specific goals that they're required to meet. The second one is sort of a goal-oriented program. They call it a health contingent wellness program, and they do have to perform certain activities, meet certain goals. So that's the two, and what we are using is the participatory one, and that is, as you see below here, is a couple of things that have to be done. They have to be offered to all the employees, and these, by the way, have to be W-2 employees, full-time, 30 hours or more. This program will not work for part-time employees. It will not work for 1099 employees. So it has to be W-2 relationship, 30 hours or more, just kind of get you an idea of who you're looking for out there. But offered to the employees regardless of health status. Examples of programs that meet the standard include programs that reward employees for attending educational seminars, the ones that complete a health risk assessment, ones that require or offer a diagnostic test, smoking cessation programs, encourage preventive care. This is the kind of things that make it compatible and compliant with the new Obamacare guidelines. So jump to this next slide, and this is our wellness program that we are now offering, and you can see the items in bold in particular as we lead off, and these are all things that fit right into that Obamacare requirements. Health risk assessment. This is very important. When the program first starts, the first thing you do in enrollment is you have the employee complete a health risk assessment. Actually, you'll assist them in that. And they just answer a few questions. It's not difficult. It's not long, but it identifies any health issues that employee might have, be it high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that. And so once they do that, the program is very smart, and it will tag those particular employees, and when it's sending out information to them, which is part of what this program does, it will have provide emails, texts, various things every single week out to these employees, and the ones that have checked certain things, it will ensure that there are custom tailored messages targeting those particular situations, and provide articles and steps and suggestions on how they can better control their diabetes or high blood pressure, whatever the case may be. And so it's a very well thought out program. And by the way, the employees will get messages again every single week, and they are required to participate. They participate by clicking on the article, following through, clicking on the message or the text, and the system knows when they've done that, so it can log them in and for audit purposes and know that they have participated. But we're not asking an undue burden. They do not have to do this every single week. They'll receive things every week, but all they've got to do is hit one of these once a month. So this is it's not a big leap. They're going to be offered physicals, certified health education specialists, dietitians, wellness coaching, smoking cessation programs. You remember that from the other page. Fitness nutrition, biometric screening, full service telemedicine, a whole bundle of discount benefit plans. It includes discounts on dental and vision and hearing and those sort of things. It also includes some actual insurance coverage that is baked into the wellness program. Now, you do not provide this separately. You do not sell this. You do not get commissioned on this. But it's just, again, a part of the benefits. Part of it's one of it's accident coverage up to $3,500 and critical illness coverage up to $7,500. And by the way, if the employee is married, the spouse actually is included in all of this. So that's another plus. So it's a very full-bodied, very comprehensive wellness program. Now, once it meets that criteria, what Obamacare now allows this to be done, which is why this really can work and why we can do what we can do, is that now qualifies to be placed into a cafeteria plan, a Section 125. For those of you familiar with Section 125s, this basically what this does, it allows the benefit to be pre-taxed. So this is the start of the accounting that is done on the payroll stub for the employee. That makes the magic happen. Once it's taken out and made to be a pre-tax situation, the valuation of the wellness plan, remember going back to that page a second ago where you saw that long list of all the things included in the wellness plan, each one of those items has a value, and it has a fair market value. And therefore, what the company does, it adds together the fair market value of all those components and comes up with a number, and that is the value of the wellness plan. That is what is deducted from the employee's pay because it's being placed inside of the 125, and so that is assessed as a cost. Well, needless to say, we don't want to reduce the employee's take-home pay by that much. And so there's something else that we're going to do here on the next slide. You're going to see how we take care of that. But just for starters, this 125, by putting it in there, is going to reduce the reportable income of the employee. And so the various taxes, Social Security, Medicare tax, whatnot, which is based on the reportable income, that's going to go down. And so the employee is going to owe less FICA tax. Well, that starts a domino effect, because for those of you familiar with how businesses work, you'll know that FICA has to be matched by the employer. So if you reduce the employee's FICA tax, the employer's FICA tax contributions are automatically going to be reduced as well. And so now you've got a win for the employee and a win for the employer. So it's starting to add up very nicely, and you'll see in a few minutes how it's a huge win for you as well. Now, again, I said that we're not going to reduce their pay, so how do we do that? Well, this is where Section 105 comes in. Section 105 of the tax code allows for actual reimbursements. It's just not a pre-tax treatment, it's an actual reimbursement. And so what they do is they take a big chunk of that valuation of that wellness plan, and they create a reimbursement back into the employee's pay, but now it's coming back in under a tax-free basis, the way this is set up. So the accounting magic is wonderful. It takes CPAs to figure all this stuff out, and lawyers, but they've done it. And full explanations will be provided to not only the employer, but whoever does the payroll, be it internal accounting or a third-party administrator, so they know exactly how to make the proper credits and debits to the paycheck to make this thing come out right and make it compliant. Now, here's a little before and after, just to give you a general idea of how this works. Without the wellness program, ABC Inc. pays the employee $4,000 a month in salary. The employee receives $32.78 take-home pay after deductions, and ABC Inc. pays approximately $306 a month in matching FICA payroll taxes for each employee each month. This is kind of what's going on right now. And by the way, we'd say without wellness programs, some of these folks may have a wellness program already, some of these companies, but the old wellness programs prior to Obamacare did not qualify for Section 125. So they're there just simply to provide an incentive for employees to live a healthier lifestyle and stay healthier, and therefore the hope with those was that they now would reduce claims on their medical insurance. So, and that's fine, and those do work, but they do not provide the tax benefits. So if you run into that, it's kind of a question: do you have the old kind of wellness program, or do you have the new kind of wellness program? So you don't be afraid if you run into an existing wellness program, because it's probably under the old guidelines. Now, with the new wellness program, ABC Inc. is still going to pay the employee $4,000 a month in salary, this employee John or Jane Doe, and that does not change. They're still going to receive the same take-home pay, the $32.78 after deductions. Now, I might add there is an exception to this in states like California or certain other states that have high state taxes. We only calculate on the federal deductions, not the state, and therefore this will in fact reduce the contributions to the state as well. That ends up being money that just goes back in their paycheck, any savings there. So rather than not only will we not reduce their take-home pay, we can actually see an increase in their take-home pay with this program. So that's another amazing feature of this program. Now, the employee's participation in the wellness program creates approximately $730 a month as a pre-tax incentive. Now, remember I said that's on that former slide. You add up all the value, the fair market value of all the elements of that wellness program, and that's where this number is coming from. After the wellness reimbursement, the employee's take-home pay will not be reduced. Again, because of that reimbursement from the Section 105, you're not creating a debit. You actually do create a debit, but then you turn around and credit it right back again through the 105. And most importantly, after all this accounting is done, there's just a little bit left over, and that it creates what we call a benefits bank. And this again is an average, nationwide average. It'll differ from employee to employee, and it'll differ from state to state. But it's about $130 a month that comes up as an additional amount that we put into what we call a benefits bank. Now, we've seen this come in at some at $130, some at $150. I've seen some at $200 and $250. So there can be some significant amounts created in this benefits bank. Now, what happens to the benefits bank? Well, this is where you start becoming involved, and where it becomes a win for you, the agent. Because what happens now is that benefits bank, again, around $130 a month, very likely maybe higher, you can now provide products through that benefits bank, and we provide a basket of products. Right now there's essentially one product in there. There will be more coming. But the one in there right now is a modified whole life policy with an annuity rider. And therefore they're going to be able to put money into a fixed annuity that's currently paying at 4%. And if interest rates start going back up again, which I'm sure they will soon, that will go up as well. And so you are now there, and notice I didn't say sell. You're going to provide, because again, you're not taking anything away from their take-home pay. You're not asking them to open their wallet. Because of this, the enrollment rate on these type of enrollments is amazingly high. We've been told that if you were going in there with a accident policy or something, the typical extra employee benefit, where they're going to have to open up their wallets, and actually they're going to see a bit of a reduction in pay to get that benefit. The enrollment rate, if you get 35, 40%, you had an excellent day. With this, if you don't get around 80%, it's something's not right. I mean, why wouldn't they? And we've had actually companies tell us this on the initial presentation. Gosh, why wouldn't a company want to do this? It's the reception is just totally amazing. Your commission, there is a price to pay for this structure, and why not? I mean, again, the enrollment rate is going to close to triple. You're going to provide products at no net cost to the employee. That's certainly worth something. And what it's worth is essentially a 30% split with a wellness company. Whatever your commission rate is, there will be a 30% split that helps them to pay to do all this. The only variation on that would be if you are, let's say you find a headquarters of a company and they've got divisions in multiple states, and you just don't want to travel and go through the hassle of traveling to many states to do all the enrollments. Your choice. But if you don't, that's going to be inconvenient for you. Then you say, wellness company, take over, I want you to do the enrollments. I still want to get paid, but I want you to do all the work. You can do that. And your split's going to go up. It's going to go up to 50%, but my gosh, well worth it. So again, and it's always your choice. The employer, by the way, does not personally participate in the cafeteria plan, the 125, and therefore does not receive a benefits bank. However, what they get is a hell of a lot bigger than any benefits bank any employees are going to get, because they're going to get that matching savings on the FICA. That's going to go right back to their bottom line, right back in their pocket. So that's kind of like their benefits bank. And the average on that, by the way, is $550 annually per employee. And again, usually higher in states like California with higher state tax, higher wages and whatnot. That could easily be $600, $650, $700. It's going to vary depending on the company and whatnot and where you are. But just take a look at that. If that was a 100-man company, you've just put $55,000 back into the pocket of that employer on an annual basis. That's not a small amount. 25-man company, about 14 grand. Now, don't you think that when this initial round is over, you've done the enrollment, you go back to that employer to basically get his satisfaction, see how he's felt about the whole process, and chances are it's going to be pretty darn good. In fact, you're going to get what we found is a lot of referrals from these employers too. This is very unusual, but the employer referral rate on this program is also very high. But not only that, he's going to know you. He's going to have confidence in what you're doing. You actually provided him what you said you were. It's not going to cost him anything. In fact, he's getting money back in his pocket. Gosh, don't you think there's a few things you might be able to suggest to that employer as to what he might be able to do with some of that money? Perhaps a business continuation plan, perhaps a personal pension plan, perhaps some key man insurance. The cross-selling opportunities in this are virtually unlimited. Even with the employees, if you got some employees that had some extra money floating around, separate from the benefits bank, perhaps an IUL of some sort might be in order, because the insurance you're providing them with the benefits bank is not going to be a large amount of insurance. It's going to be something more akin to a final expense program. But again, the big part of it is going to go into the annuity, so it's still a very positive thing that you're going to be providing to them. So just a neat situation all the way around. Here's some commission examples. This is kind of like our street level. Just to kind of show you what the potential is, we'll use an example of $150 premium, and we're going to say 35% because we're basing this on a 50% contract. And again, if you take the 30% split for the wellness company, that nets out 35%. So that 35% of $150 is $5,250. Times 25, because you have 25 employees there, and you might not get all of them, but we'll just use this for sake of example, $1,312.50 a month. And by the way, you do not have to have 100% participation in this. That is not required. So if you only get 20 of the 25, that's fine. Anyway, $1,312.50 times 12 means that you've just increased your income by going in there with a lead generation system to get access to the employer and the employees for potential other sales. And that lead generation system didn't cost you something. It just put almost $16,000 into your pocket. And we mentioned again, the employer referrals are very high on this. Now, 7 companies just like this, and again, any combination thereof to get you up to 160 employees. That's the magic number that would actually increase your income for this lead generation program to over $100,000 over the course of the next year. I think you're starting to see why we are so excited about this program and why we think 2016 here just right around the corner is going to be one phenomenal year for our company and our agency. With this kind of tool in our tool belt, there's going to be no stopping it. All we can say to you is the sooner you get started, the sooner you start making money. This is just an example, kind of a clipped example of an attention-gaining flyer that if someone didn't already have contacts in the business community, which those obviously is the way you want to start. We have several people with some great contacts out there that are already going in and getting us some great appointments. But if you just wanted to get the word out, we have this little intro flyer, and this is just a sample of it. And if you'll note at the bottom of the page here, there's a web reference, financialfreedomcrusade.com/wellnessprogram.html. That's actually more than the flyer. It gives a little more of a general description of the program. You could use that for another agent or for a business owner. And by the way, we are Freedom Financial Solutions, Inc. FinancialFreedomCrusade.com is just simply a separate site that we use for marketing purposes. So that's all a part of our numerous websites that we operate. So feel free to take a look at that, and then again, that'll be a summary of a little bit of what we've talked about this morning. And but bottom line, what I'm trying to say here is that we have a lot of great collateral material. We've got cover letters, we've got color brochures, we've got all the things that you need to make a good impression and go in and make that connection with that company and start your business rolling. And once you start this, again, between the referrals and the feedback, your whole business is going to change. Now, all you need to get started is to get with the person who invited you to watch this or sent you this link to watch this webinar, and they will send you a carrier appointment sheet. That's the first thing you need. That's going to give you instructions how to appoint with the main carrier that we are using right now for the products in the benefits bank. It's just one company at the moment. There will be more later, but right now all you need is one company to get started. And just as a hint, we found a few agents that, as you may remember back in grade school, you read the first two sentences on the page and you kind of skip the rest. Please don't do that. Read the whole sheet. It's got a number of instructions on there, and this, if you don't want your appointment to be delayed, it's important you follow all the instructions. And most of it's pretty simple stuff. It's just the additional requirements, like ensuring that your AML, your anti-money laundering training, is up to date. They're going to require that, and up to date means within the last 2 years. If not, go back in and take the test. It's and there's free places to do that. That's there's no cost to that. Check and make sure your annuity CE requirements are up to date. Most all states have an annuity requirement, and even those that don't, this company still requires a CE proof of CE continuing ed credits specifically for annuity training. And most everybody already has that, but you need to make sure they've got proof of that. If you have a certificate, another little thing that trips agents up is the certificate you have will be signed by the company that, like WebCE, that may have provided it to you. There's a line on there for the student. That's you. Sign it. Easy to miss, but it'll hold you up. So just little hints. And then also there is a product-specific annuity requirement. One of the last paragraphs on the sheet will tell you exactly where to find it, how to log in. If you just read it, it tells you everything. And that's just simply watching a few slides, filling in your name, and it certifies that you actually watched it. You don't even have to answer a question. So very simple stuff, but people are missing that, and it's causing their appointments to be delayed. So be detailed a little bit for that sheet. Follow the instructions, and you'll be on board in no time. We'll provide you the whole package, and also we will then schedule you for either send you a copy of or schedule personally for the training, and we have a full-blown training webinar, which is considerably longer than this, that goes into all the details, how you get started, what material you use, and we will ensure that you have all your questions answered. So it's not that hard. Again, this could potentially make a huge difference in your insurance career, your financial services career. This is the kind of thing you wait for years, the perfect lead generation system that not only puts money in your pocket, but also offers things to the businesses at no net cost to them. It just doesn't get any better than that. We look forward to working with you. We look forward to you joining with us in our team. I promise you it's going to be a great year coming up for you, and this is something that will set you apart in the marketplace. So I appreciate your time this morning or this afternoon or whatever time, middle of the night perhaps you're watching this, but whatever time it is, it's the time for you to take action. So get back in contact with the person who provides you with this link and take that first step. And let's all have a great year coming up, and make this a hallmark of the days that your career really changed and put you on the fast track. Thank you.